is a quote from Jayson Tatum. Anyone who doesn't have MJ, Bron, and Kobe in their top 5, I have a hard time listening to.
All right, look. The problem with a top 5 is it can only have 5 people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the levels of the frustration that I share in this is not recognizing that there's some room for disagreement in this. And I guess I need to not be as annoyed because, like, in my mind, at least, I think Kobe may be the only fringe guy that we're talking about in this one.
Yeah.
My frustration is a little bit of me shaking this hand at this cloud that's up here, is that I'm not getting fussed at like that by nobody that's 26 years old. Look, I understand right now he probably got a lot of time to just sit around and think about it. You know? So maybe he has broken this down on molecular levels that have truly given him a clarity on this matter. Maybe. But don't just like, I ain't willing to talk. Don't do that. Like, we have a real serious, the most fascinating question with Kobe is Tim Duncan. And it's the most interesting because they both got stripes beating each other. They both got what they got on each other's watch. You know what I mean? Like everything, they both have 5 titles, right? They both got them sometimes going through each other. Kobe's, you know, Lakers had their times, though. They demolished the Spurs, but the Spurs also had their times that they went back. Like, this is a discussion. This is a discussion. We got to have discussions.
There are things that I am willing to accept from people as absolutes, right? Like once I went on Dan Patrick's show and I was wearing a Prince hoodie that I got from the airport in Minneapolis. And he says, Prince or Stevie Wonder? And I say, you know what, Dan? It depends on the day, right? It really, really depends on the day. Like if you talk about Stevie, you know, pre-Stevie owning his own stuff and everything else, and then you combine that with the classic era, blah, 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 right? Or you go at, man, Prince in the 80s was just, you know, was just crazy, crazy. It depends on the day, right? If you tell me we can't have an argument about that genre of music without those 2 people being in the top 5, that's an absolute I'm willing to accept. Now, if you're willing to tell me that somebody who is arguably a tier under, I don't know who qualifies like a tier under the GOAT tier per se, who would be analogous to Kobe Bryant per se, I don't want to hear that. It's certain things I'm willing to accept and willing to discuss. This is not one of them. And I feel like this is only coming from like a 26-year-old who is looking at only the Kobe Bryant aesthetic and highlights. Or the argument that I hate the most, Bo, is, well, he's the closest thing to Mike. What that mean?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously a Kobe stan, right?
Yes.
So I think that offers a level of information on what we're talking about there, right? So let's say that he says Prince and Stevie, and I'll just throw it in there. So like we're talking about somebody that is like maybe a tier below. Let's call it like Earth, Wind, and Fire as an act, right?
Yeah.
And there are people who argue to the ground about the greatness of Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's your band. That's your groove. That's cool. You know? Like, and I don't think that Kobe Bryant is the Earth, Wind, and Fire. Like, it's a little difficult to make the exact comparison.
Yeah.
You know, but I think you get what I'm saying, right? Like, that's your groove. Like, it's okay if that one, if that happens to be your groove. You go ahead and do that.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Don't tell me who your GOAT is when you just saying that's your favorite player.
Well, so that's the thing. My thing is the idea of a GOAT. First of all, you can't have multiple, right? People like one of the GOATs. I mean, I guess, but come on now. Now you're just like now you make room for everybody here, right? if you think somebody's the greatest player of all time, maybe it is your opinion of who the greatest is of all time. But when people refer to my GOAT, they are referring to their favorite player. And it is okay to say that that is your favorite player. Dominique Wilkins is not my GOAT. Dominique Wilkins was my favorite player, right? It's okay.
Right.
To me, Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. Michael Jordan has never been my favorite player. This is like an assessment.
Yes.
Okay? Your love, like, this tells me a whole lot about how some of y'all was raised. Your love is not supposed to be this conditional, right? You can only love somebody if they're the best.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you think every woman that's married to a dude in the NBA think that cat's the best player in the NBA? Hell no, she know better. She know LeBron got a nicer house than them, and she know why.
I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Like, my favorite player, to nobody's surprise, is Isaiah Thomas. And if someone says Magic Johnson's a better point guard, you want me to argue against that?
Yeah, that's cool. Whatever.
Fine.
Got you.
Cool. I'm not going to argue against, Michael Jordan's better than Isaiah. Okay, yeah, that's probably the case because he's the greatest player ever. That's usually how it works.
Yeah.
I don't know who raised. I think it comes back to who raised. I don't know who's raising these kids. Like when I saw Carmelo's son say that Paul George is my GOAT, and I'm like,
that's what I'm saying.
Shouldn't your daddy be? I mean, if anybody, shouldn't your own daddy be your GOAT when we talking about those type of things?
Hey, man, you know what it's like to be a son. It might be his actual answer, right? That might be his answer in real life.
Yeah. But it's
them kids love Paul George though, in a way that confuses me. But hold on. But to be fair, I just said my favorite player was Dominique Wilkins. So, you know.
No. There's a huge difference to me between if your favorite player is Dominique Wilkins than your favorite player being Paul George. Because Dominique Wilkins did things in the air I have never, ever seen. Duck walk. Look, that man was that duck walking, bringing the windmill all the way down with the dry Jerry curl. Maybe it was dry, maybe it wasn't. You know, like the aesthetic. No, I get that, and I like Paul George's game. I think he's got a smooth game. That's one of those things I don't see, and that's not me on Paul George. I'm just surprised that there is this crazy amount of love and saying this is my GOAT type of thing. Even if I wanted to accept it.
He also had some dope, reasonably priced sneakers, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did for a period.
You know,
he did.
Goes a long way.
I guess it carries. It's a generational thing. Like, and it's funny because I think basketball, and I want to see if you agree with me on this one. And I didn't put this on the rundown, so forgive me, Dakota. I thought about this last week when it seems like there's this rush in basketball culture more than anything else to get to the next thing. When the regular season starts, it's, man, can't wait to get to the playoffs. When the playoffs start, it's, man, can't wait to get to trade season and free agency season. When it's free agency, man, can't wait to get to the games. We never just sit in a place of being able to, this is a regular season, a Tuesday night game between two really good teams. Who gives a damn if it means that the Knicks aren't going to the finals this year or whatever the game may symbolize? Like, I don't know if that came from Twitter and the immediacy of everything else, but the culture seems to have affected the NBA and basketball more than any other sport, and it bothers me.
I think that if you watch more football coverage, you see that it's all over the place there.
Yeah,
I think baseball, because it plays a zillion games, is the one that keeps you present a little bit differently.
Yeah.
But I do think that the nature of sports talk radio, which then morphed into debate television, I think is the thing that did that, because you're playing this forward, right? We're talking about this and then using it as an advertisement for something else. Like, we're about to go into week 3 of the NFL season. And the question on so many games is going to be like, is the Chiefs season finished at 0-3? The Ravens and the Lions are going to play, and they're both 1-1, meaning one of them is going to be 1-2. Is the team that finished 1-2? How much trouble are they in, right? Like, everything pays forward in that regard, because it makes it easier to find topics that allow for argument, or we'll call it discourse, just to be, to take away the judgment of it, or make it less pejorative. And no, it's hard for anything to stay present. anything at all, in large part because staying present in this one thing is really difficult to do in the face of a zillion other options. Something else over there you could be doing.
Right. And I bring you, and I said that as almost a perfect setup, Bo. I bring this to you as somebody who lives in New York City.
Yes.
Are you prepared? Are you prepared for the widespread panic that is going to happen the first time there is a 3-game losing streak at 33rd and 8th?
Can't wait.
Are you ready?
Can't wait. I have not been here for a good team that has disappointed this city, right? Like I haven't, maybe a little bit last year, but this year, look, I feel like everybody in the East has an argument for being the best team in the East. Right?
Yeah,
Halliburton,
yeah.
I mean, we don't expect to see Tatum play this season coming. We don't expect Halliburton to play in this season coming. Why not? Like, what is your argument if you're the Knicks as to why you can't be the best team? Like, are you expecting Paul George to be healthy? Are you expecting, I mean, I saw Embiid lost a bunch of weight. Like, is that what you're going for? Is like Philadelphia going to be the team that somehow figures out how to make this happen? Like, are you really on board with Orlando like that? Detroit, welcome back. Like, how much do we think we got there? Do we really trust Cleveland? Right? So, hey, look, if we're in Cleveland, I think we're having the same discussion. Why can't you be the team that win the East in the face of what it is that we're discussing? But the difference is it's the Knicks, right? How many teams in the East have a better 1-2 than Jalen Brunson and Karl Towns, despite all the things that I might have to say about Karl Towns? And they got a new coach. Like, they basically said conference finals, not good enough.
Ooh. No, you know what the crazy thing for me was? They would have fired them even if they went to the finals.
Yes.
They would have fired him if they went to Game 7 of the NBA Finals against the Oklahoma City Thunder and had the exact same fate. Maybe not a Jalen Brunson injury, blah, blah, blah. But the Knicks were going to fire Tom Thibodeau no matter what. And Mike Brown walking into this situation, being as perceived to be as affable and amenable as he is compared to Tom Thibodeau, that's going to look and feel different because there wasn't time last year. The difference between this year and last year, to me, the Karl Towns trade happened on the eve of training camp. It wasn't enough time for people to reasonably have expectations of this team should go to the finals. Especially now when the Boston Celtics had just won a championship and won 64 games and ran through everybody else and blah, blah, blah. Like, nobody was reasonably going to expect that, so you didn't have time to sit in it. You've had time to sit in all of this, from the Tatum injury to the Halliburton injury, since June. There's going to be very little patience for Mikal Bridges, for Josh Hart, for OG Anunoby. There's little patience for anything other than Jalen Brunson. And I think that what makes this, to me, more interesting is going to be the inner workings of how dudes handle that pressure, even more so than the actual record and whether they succeed or fail.
And don't you think for a second they can't get tired of no Jalen Brunson? Like, don't get me wrong. They love that man. They happy to have him. But this is a city that likes people who play defense.
I don't know if that city exists anymore, Bo.
Oh, no. It's still here. Like, I'm telling you, at some point, what they obviously like about Brunson is that he ain't scared and he goes and gets those shots, right? But I think the weaknesses of their two best players' games are incompatible with this city. Like, this is the thing I said about Towns. I'm like, the more they watch him, the less they're going to like him. Because, look, the beginning of the year last year, he looked like the best player in the NBA. And everybody, I feel like, says this when they get their first, like, an opportunity to watch him more than they had. We're just like, oh, my God, can you believe the things that this guy can do? And then you go back and you be like, here we go. And I think we started seeing some of that in the playoffs last year, where people saw what the shortcomings were of his game.
For me, I go back to that first round series. And I'm like, if Isaiah Stewart's healthy, they don't get out of that series because you got somebody to guard Towns. Like, everything that happened, this is not taking anything away. I know Knicks fans are going to parse and say you hating or whatever, or Detroit, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. But I'm not taking away from them beating Boston because I think they would have beat Boston even with a healthy Tatum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they were clearly having Boston's number in a way that we're going to have to look at Joe Mazzulla a lot under the light this year. Yeah, I see you over there, Joe. We're going to do a lot of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they were going to win that series anyway. And then to lose a series where you have home court advantage, mind you, against the Indiana Pacers in the conference finals, and then having that first round series where I thought, man, they are up against it. They are just up against a worse matchup for them than what they could have came up with, and they just happened to come out of it. Yeah, I just think the pressure is going to be inordinate, Bo. And I want to know if Karl is built for it. Jalen Brunson is dealing with real expectations for the first time. He's no longer the little engine that could behind Luka Doncic or the free agency prize that everybody just thought of because of Leon Rose and his dad and everything else. There's legit real life expectations. And Bo, give me the list of players at his size or a little bit shorter, a little bit taller, that have led their teams to championships in the history of the NBA. Give me the list.
It's Isaiah Thomas. It's Steph Curry.
That's the list, y'all.
That's the whole list. That's the entire list right there. Now, I want to say this before we go too far. I think we both agree. They're going to turn on Bridges before they turn on anybody else unless something drastic changes about his approach to playing basketball.
Yes.
Like, he got to get a little bit more comfortable with the pressure, the physicality of the game.
Question. Will they turn on Bridges or will they turn on OG Anunoby first? Because Bridges plays.
Yes. But that looking afraid of being touched.
I'm with you.
That's tough.
And New York's a finicky bunch. And the New York fan is a finicky bunch of how their basketball is supposed to be played.
It's tough. Like, look, either way it goes, everybody gonna feel like it's about them because it's coming. It's coming. Like, this is a thing. And again, I can't say that they will win it, the East, but I can't tell you why they shouldn't. There's nothing intractable that says they shouldn't.
I mean, the Cleveland Cavaliers are the reason why they shouldn't. If the Cavs were the team,
but they are not intractable.
The regular season says that they are. You know,
yeah.
Right.
But they are not they are not intractable. Like I mean, look, they're asking for somebody that same size to lead them to a championship.
Yeah. Once again, the list is a list of two: Stephen Curry and Isaiah Thomas. Mm-hmm. That's the list.